Huge story about the NFL and people not standing for the anthem. Donald Trump's very angry. He thinks people should be fired. He started a firestorm about that on Friday night that has raged throughout the weekend. Now, would you like to know the real story of how we wound up having people stand for the national anthem in the NFL in the first place? Now, this story does not go back a very long time in history. It's not like the players were standing for the national anthem throughout. Did you know that? It's not like, oh, the NFL, that's always what happens. The players come out, we do the national anthem, they stand, and that is an American tradition. No, it started very recently. Let me go to Law News here that explains this story. Before 2009, football players standing for the national anthem wasn't even a thing. The team stayed in the locker room until after and the home of the brave, of course, until the anthem was over, and then ran onto the field. So what the Steelers did this weekend, and eventually the Seahawks and the Titans, was what every team did pre-2009. So this is a new thing. So all that talk of like, oh, this is tradition in America, and if you respect America, then this is when you come out of the locker room, and this is how you stand, and this is where you put your hands. Yeah, I know, America's all about dictating how people should stand and what body motions they should have and where they should be, etc. So it turns out it's all a myth. So why did it start later anyway? This is the really interesting part. Turns out that from 2011 to 2014, the Department of Defense spent $5.4 million in contracts with 14 NFL teams for flag ceremonies. The National Guard got in on the action too and gave $6.7 million to the NFL for the same kind of thing from 2013 to 2015. This is what is otherwise known as paid propaganda. Now, look, they I'm sure had good intentions when they did it. Their intention is, well, we'd like more people to sign up for the National Guard, for the Department of Defense. We need more recruits to volunteer army. So let's pay some for some marketing if you want to take a positive spin on it, propaganda if you want to take a negative spin on it, and make it a new tradition that we all salute the flag and do the national anthem and make sure the players are on the field and everybody's paying heed to our soldiers. And then if you remember, of course, when Kaepernick took a knee, it had nothing to do with the military. He said it was because of the racial injustice that the police, unfortunately, were doing throughout the country. But people immediately spun it as, oh, you must hate the veterans, you must hate the military. Well, all this started in the first place because the military apparently was paying for this propaganda. And yes, I do take a negative spin on it because this is not what we should spend taxpayer dollars for. If you're patriotic, wonderful, but I don't want the Defense Department spending our dollars to try to make other people patriotic so they sign up for wars and serve the Pentagon's purposes. So more details on this. The Senate Oversight Committee said, unfortunately, and they investigated this, they said, unfortunately, contrary to the public statements made by the Department of Defense and the NFL, the majority of the contracts, 72 of the 122 contracts we analyzed, clearly show that the Department of Defense paid for patriotic tributes at professional football, baseball, basketball, hockey, and soccer games. These paid tributes included an on-the-field color guard, enlistment and re-enlistment ceremonies, performances of the national anthem, full field flag details, ceremonial first pitches, and puck drops. So look, the national anthem happened in the games before, but like we said, the players were in the locker room at the time. You would of course have a first pitch and you drop the puck anyway, but they wrapped all of it in the flag, and it was all an effort to recruit more people to sign up for the military. So this was propaganda from the beginning and had nothing to do with American tradition. In fact, it's not just me saying that. Back in 2015, Republican Senator John McCain called this, quote, paid patriotism. And he went on to say that the charades conducted not out of a sense of patriotism, but rather done for profit in the form of millions in taxpayer dollars going from the Department of Defense to wealthy pro-sports franchises. And he came out strongly against it, and that is how all of this began in the first place. Know the reality, know the truth, and that right there is what this is actually about. If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.